welcome to the first episode of. Oh, let me turn my fan off. It's very hot. Welcome to the first episode of Night Shift, where it's actually night for a long time. It's very hot. It's still the same. I don't know if I'm posting the other videos I recorded today. I'm posting one of them. One of them's already out. So yeah, same day, nighttime. I went to Japan once with my family. And, well, I'm just gonna say some stuff about what happened, I guess. I'm improvising this. Now, it wasn't all good. Let me just put that first of all. Japan itself was fun, but at the time, my relations with my stepmom were not so great. And, being locked in hotel rooms with her and traveling around foreign lands with her 24 hours a day was a bit much. uh, some some bad some arguments happened. We'll just put it that way. Some arguments happened, and there was some unpleasantness from that. And also, to add to the less good parts, this was just before I'd gone into anime. I was just getting into anime. I'd seen like maybe 4 anime. I think I'd seen, not counting Ghibli movies, I think I'd seen like Sword Art Online, what else? um, Chunibyo. I know I'd seen No Game No Life because it was my wallpaper at the time. And that was the only like anime I'd seen. And I think I might have seen Tokyo Ghoul by this time. No, I hadn't. I hadn't seen Tokyo Ghoul by this time. That might have been it. I might have seen 3 anime. I'd fully seen a bit of Batum. I might have seen Batum at this point because after I watched Sword Art Online and obviously thought it was the greatest thing of all time, I went to an anime recommendations website and it was like, tell me a show you like and it will recommend you other shows. And it recommended me No Game No Life and Batum. And I watched Batum and it was just awful. And I watched No Game No Life and it was amazing. And I'm sure we all know the story by now. The first anime I watched was Chunibyo because I saw a thread about it on R9K. Someone posted a link to a YouTube playlist with the entire show dubbed. I watched it dubbed. I watched dubs at this point in my life. Maybe I'd seen Cowboy Bebop. I don't know. Point being, I wasn't really into anime. If I went now, I would probably have a lot more fun. Not just because of going to Akiba and stuff, but just knowing more about Japanese culture in general. I would definitely like. I went to some jinja, some like shrines, Shinto temples, and I didn't really understand what was going on. Whereas now I know a bit more about Shinto. I know a bit more about Japanese culture. I probably would enjoy it a lot more now. There was also a lot of awkward moments. But yeah, so that was a bit of culture shock and like weirdness. I feel like if I went now, it would be much better. Is all I'm saying. Maybe I'd seen ReZero. Wait, because I remember seeing Ram and Rem. No. This was before ReZero came out. No. Wait, this was before ReZero came out. It can't have been that. What did I see? I saw posters for like Attack on Titan season 2 or something, but I think I didn't like Attack on. I like dropped Attack on Titan, so I wasn't very excited about that. I'm sure. I just wish it had been 1 year later. If I had gone 1 year later, I would have enjoyed the whole like otaku side of stuff a lot more. But there were a lot of positives as well. So our trip was Tokyo, Kyoto, and Nara. If you don't know Nara, it's the place with the deer. You ever see those videos, people in Japan, where the deer are like coming up to them and like bowing? It's that place. Has one of the the great Buddha's statues, like one of the great Buddha statues in Japan, which was pretty impressive. And other than that, it's really got not much else. It has deer and a big temple with a Buddha statue, and it's a nice historic town. Uh, yeah. Also, Kyoto, I feel like I didn't get enough out of Kyoto. Like if I went, I don't know. I barely remember Kyoto at all. I don't remember what we did. I think Kyoto might have been where the Ghibli Museum is, because we went to the Ghibli Museum. But I don't. I remember that, but I don't remember what else happened in Kyoto except a big argument. um, so yeah, I kind of wish it had happened. I mean, obviously, if I went now to Japan, I would have a lot more fun. But so Tokyo. This how do I even begin? I'll just say a few things that happened, just completely disconnected. So, um, one thing that happened is I went on, I think it must probably R9K on my phone, and I was like, I'm in Japan for the first time. What should I do? I'm in Tokyo. What should I do? And someone was like, you should go to this cafe. You should go to this, like, it's not even a cafe, it's like a coffee bar. Go to this coffee bar and try their coffee. This is a bar that's been there for 100 years, and it's the best coffee in Japan. And I was like, wee, I gotta try that. So I convinced my parents we gotta go to this coffee bar, and it wasn't very hard to convince them because who doesn't like a coffee bar? And we were staying in Asakusa, by the way, if you're interested. If you know what Asakusa is, we were staying in a ryokan in Asakusa by the shopping. Like you've seen it in a million anime. There's a big arch with a I don't know how to describe it. There's a big thing. It's kind of a landmark in Tokyo. There's like a shopping strip, and then an indoor shopping, like a closed top. We were staying in a ryokan around that kind of area, and that was pretty nice. It's very fucking hot though, because we went in the middle of summer. Uh, but they have fucking air conditioning, and I don't. So anyway, what was I talking about? Something about Japan. Okay, this coffee place was amazing. Really good coffee. Really delicious coffee. Thank you. Whatever fucking Anon recommended me to go to that coffee shop. It was amazing. I think what I said on RNK was like something like, I made a thread. I never make threads. I think I've made a thread like 5 times in my entire life. I never make threads. I made a thread, and it was something like, how do I go to Japan without looking like a stupid weeb or whatever? And someone said, and what should I do? And someone said it was for a coffee shop. So thank you to you, Random Anon, because that was a great thing to do. Went to Shibuya once, the big main street where all the fashion is. I forgot what the fuck that street's called. Ikebukuro, is that it? I don't know. But that place, saw some cute, like gothic Lolita girls and like Shibuya-kei fashion, but not that much actually. Only like a couple of people. I think it's more of a meme than anything. Like I think everyone who's actually into that subculture has like moved on to cooler places, and it's mostly a tourist spot because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like a tourist spot. What else happened? I'm trying to save like the good nuggets. Wow, it's been 9 minutes already? Okay, we can get to the good nuggets. So the highlight maybe of the entire trip was when my dad, who's always been a cool guy, was like, have some money, go to Akiba, because we'd been having arguments, right? Like me and my stepmom. And so he was just like, take money, go to Akiba, and just dick around there for a day. We'll go off and do our own thing so you don't cause any more fucking problems for us. Take this money, just dick around in Akiba for a few hours, and we'll meet up wherever, right? And so I did it. And it was a bit weird. So first things first, I didn't know anything about I barely knew about anything anime. So I was like going into these anime like figure shops, the secondhand fig. Well, I now know are secondhand figure shops. Then I didn't know what they were, and I was like looking around them, going in all the shops in Akiba. Didn't know that you're supposed to go down the back alleys to find the good shit. So I was just going in the main shops. Uh, you know, big game shops and stuff like that, like with lots of video game consoles and all that sort of stuff. Um, Wandering around like a complete tourist, trying my best not to look like a tourist, also being a little bit very anxious because here I am alone in the middle of a city I don't know about and no one speaks my language in a foreign country. So I was also very anxious the whole time. But it's kind of thrilling almost. Uh, so yeah, I'm wandering around these shops. I find like there's a place where they sell like super realistic BB guns. That was cool. Like I saw a P90 and I was like, that's a P90 from the Counter Strike. I recognize that. And it looks like it's a perfect replica. It's not a BB gun. It's an airsoft gun. I don't know why I called it a BB gun, but yeah, there was a shop that sold super realistic airsoft guns, and then I somehow was just like, well, I wonder what the next floor is up, and I'd keep going up, and eventually, not knowing this at the time, I ended up on the top floor, which happens to be the 18 plus adults only section, where there's a bunch of JV DVDs, and I'm sort of like, well, I've come up here now, so I guess I may as well look around. So I'm just looking around like, yes, I'm going to buy some Jav DVDs, yes. Just looking around, and I see another guy come in, and that was weird. He sort of gave me a look, like, what's the fucking gaijin doing looking at these JF CDs? And I was like looking like, what the fuck is going on? And then after a while I was like, okay, time to leave this area pronto, because things are going a bit crazy. So I left the area pronto. That was an experience. I also was 17 at the time, so whoops. But it was an accident. And once I was up there, I was too awkward to just walk out. And like I was too awkward, so I thought I'd like pretend to browse for a bit. It was fucking weird. It was a very weird time. So that happened. Then I'm wondering. So I get back down. I start walking down the street, like the main street, and I see like a big crowd in this build, like in the sort of foyer of this building, and I'm like, what's going on in there? Let's investigate. So I go to investigate, and I've only fucking stumbled upon like the World Yo-Yo Championships. I'm like, what? The World Yo-Yo Championships? And so I'm there just looking at these people doing crazy yo-yos shit. Now at the time, I had a deck of cards in my backpack, and so in the World Yo-Yo Championship like space, there was like a space where they were teaching people beginner tricks, and it was really cool. We managed to get past the language barrier pretty well, the person who taught me, and he was like teaching me beginner yo-yo tricks, which I don't know if I could still do them, but he was teaching me these beginner yo-yo tricks, and I was having a lot of fun because skill toys have always been my shit, you know, cardistry, pen spinning. I wish I knew what happened to my pen mod, my like pen spinning mod that I had like fucking 20,000 years ago. I don't know what happened to that. I honestly, I kind of want to get a new one because pen spinning is like really fun. But yeah, cardistry, pen spinning, Big Larry, Kendama, somewhere over there. That one also I bought in Japan. Uh, which I actually bought it at that exact show. I bought it at a stall in the Yo-Yo Championships. They were selling Kendama USA Kendamas, and I bought a Kendama USA Kendama in Japan. Um, so that was neat. Uh, so yeah, and he was teaching me these yo-yo tricks, and I was like, let me show you something or whatever. And I took my cards out and I started doing cardistry, and then like a bunch of the yo-yo guys started coming around, and we were like kind of like vaguely talking in broken English to each other. It was a really great moment. It was definitely the highlight of the whole trip to me. This like these autistic skill toys transcend language. I'm like showing cardistry to these people. They're showing me these crazy yo-yo tricks. This guy taught me some yo-yo tricks. I taught him how to do a Charlier cut. A Charlier cut is I need a deck of cards. It's a one-handed cut. Do I have a? I'll just use an old one because it's not exactly a difficult trick to do. Shit a 360. This is a Charlier cut. It's a very easy. It's just a very basic one-handed cut. So I taught him how to do a Charlier cut. I wasn't sure what to teach him next, so I tried to teach him how to do like an angel, which is actually not a very good trick to teach a beginner. I don't know why, but I was just like panicking, and so that was great fun. I taught him how to do a Charlier cut. He taught me how to do like a walk the dog or whatever, and then I went to a like a little stool that was. I was like, well, now that I've learned this fucking yo-yo trick, I have to buy a yo-yo. Like you can't go to the yo-yo championships, have a good, like presumably a world-class yo-yoer teach you a trick, and then not get into yo-yoing. You can't do that. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go fucking buy a yo-yo. So I went to whatever store was selling yo-yos, picked up one that looked like the one that he'd been teaching me with, and went to pay. And I went to pay with like a note. I don't remember what it was, but whatever note I had must have been a big note in yen, because the guy at the counter was like, looked really shocked that I had a note that big. So I don't know how much money that was, because I don't remember the yen amount. I wasn't paying attention. But that happened. And that was cool. So that's like the highlight, really, is stumbling into the World Yo-Yo Championships thing and teaching a guy how to do a Charlier cut and buying a yo-yo and a kendama. However, if I had gone 1 year later, there would probably be a lot more figures in this room. Yeah, I was looking for stuff that I knew, but I couldn't find anything. Like, I barely knew any anime at the time, so I couldn't find... I'd seen Steins Gate. I remember. I'd seen Steins Gate at this point. In dub, I'd seen Steins Gate. Yeah, this is so early in my anime career that I was watching dubs. I don't know if I put two and two together that I was actually in Akiba, where Steins Gate is set. I don't know if I put that together in my head. Probably. But either way. So that was dope. That was Tokyo. Very cool. I mean, there was a lot of other cool shit in Tokyo, but that was the coolest. And honestly, I don't remember a lot of it, because my memory is just really bad. A lot of what I remember is the food. Like, before I went to Japan, obviously, doing research and shit, everyone said, like, oh yeah, make sure you bring a lot of money for food, because food's really expensive in Japan, and like eating out is expensive and stuff like that. This is bullshit. This is complete bullshit. Firstly, the first thing to know about Japan, or Tokyo at least, actually I'm pretty sure this is true no matter where you go in Japan, is what in London is considered like restaurant quality Japanese food, in Japan is like shit fast food quality Japanese food. Like, that's like the base standard there. You don't get bad food. You can't find it. You can look, but you won't find bad food in Japan. There's just good food and then incredible food and nothing else. Like, nothing in between. So, like, I went for like Zaru Soba like a million times in this like random fucking cheap restaurant, like tiny little fucking cubbyhole shit. Like, you could just go anywhere and get ramen or soba, and it's the best ramen and soba you've ever had. Like, we went for a ramen once. There was a moment, actually, in Tokyo where we went into a random ramen place, and they had a ramen called Bukake Ramen, and I was laughing about it, and my dad was like, why are you laughing? And I said, because it's Bukake Ramen, and he was like, what's that? And I was like, you don't need to know. But that was pretty funny. So the ramen is delicious. That's something to take away. The food in Japan is not expensive, as long as you only eat noodles. Actually, it's not even true. Literally not even true. Like a gyudon or unagi don or any don, anything a don, right? A don is just meat on rice, basically. They're cheap as fuck. Especially gyudon, like, very cheap. Ramen is cheap as fuck. Everything's cheap as fuck. Like, it's like chicken shops here, but it's amazing Japanese food instead of shit fried chicken. And they're just everywhere, and they're all amazing. Like, no wonder no one in Japan cooked for themselves. because there's just amazing food everywhere. Why would you? Uh, Went to a sushi place at like 6 a.m. We got up super early to go to the fish market so that we could go to a sushi place, um, like in the morning for breakfast. Best sushi I've ever had, just amazing. Um, Everything is good. There's no sushi. Actually, I don't like sea urchin sushi. That's the only sea urchin is the only seafood I've ever eaten that I don't like. I'm a good eater. I didn't used to be as a kid, but nowadays I'll eat pretty much anything you put in front of me. And if it's Japanese food, I mean, come on. So the food is definitely a highlight of the trip. I don't think I had a single bad meal. I definitely didn't have a single bad meal. Um, we also went to Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland. I don't remember much about it, but I remember going there vaguely. Don't remember what rides they had. Oh, there was a train of some kind, like a monorail. Remember that. That's all I remember, is that there was a monorail and food that was like called like good, but like not like it seemed like my parents were a bit like when they were paying the check, they seemed a bit like. So I thought like it was good food, but like clearly this is overpriced. Um. Anyway, that was Tokyo. Then Kyoto, I barely remember. I'm not even gonna lie. I just don't remember shit that happened in Kyoto. Except I think the Ghibli Museum was in Kyoto, and that the Ghibli Museum is really cool. If you get a chance to go there, I mean everyone will tell you this, but if you get a chance to go to the Ghibli Museum, you should go to the Ghibli Museum because it's just a great place. Damn, I've been talking about this for ages. Well, there's not really much else to say. I don't remember much about Kyoto, and I don't remember much about Nara except that we stayed in a cool inn that was very traditional and like tatami mat type shit. And we went to the big temple in Nara and saw the Dai Buddha or whatever the fuck it's called, the big Buddha, um, which was a big Buddha, and I was like, wow, that's a big Buddha. Um, I was doing kendama tricks at the time. I'd started learning kendama tricks. That was cool. Um, it was really fucking hot the whole time I was there. It was just so hot. Oh, here's another thing about Japan. Everyone just in the summer, you can't walk down the street without finding someone just handing out free cold green tea. Like it's free. It's literally free. Like you, they just have just drinks like businesses will just give out free green tea no matter where you go. They just love to give out free green tea. And it's really good green tea because that's the standard there because everyone drinks green tea. And obviously it's cold in the summer, they're not going to give you hot green tea. And it's the most refreshing drink. And it's just free no matter where. It's like water, they'll just give it to you. It's crazy. It's a crazy world. It's a very crazy world. So yeah, that's my trip to Japan. Uh, I definitely want to go back to there. If there's any country I want to visit, I mean, not just because I'm a weeb, not just for the otaku shit, although I will pack light because I know I'm gonna be bringing a lot of shit back with me. But not just for buy faggotry. I want to buy shit there, obviously, but also like it's just such a cool place. Like the food is great, the nature is amazing. It's. I mean, it's not a good place to live and work. It's a terrible place to live and work. In fact, when you know, maybe not terrible, but you could do better. But it's a great place to go on holiday. I don't know if I'll ever be able to afford to go on holiday again in my life, but if I do, it'll probably be Japan. Denpa Mob goes to Japan together when?